This is the special meeting of the Mashpee Sewer Commission on July 31st at 2 p.m. in the Mashpee Walkpoint Meeting Room in the Town Hall at 16 Great Neck Road North, Mashpee. We're broadcast live on local Channel 8 or high definition Channel 1072 and streamed live on the Town of Mashpee website. So as we call the meeting to order, I would like us to stand as we are able to do a Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And now may we have a moment of silence. Thank you. May I also ask you to silence your cell phones if you can? And our first item on the agenda is to have public comment from anyone in the audience.
I don't. I'm here to learn and listen.
Okay, great. Well, you're welcome here. So I'm glad you're here. All right, we have quite an extensive meeting to get through and a lot of information to cover. We are going to be looking at new business with a presentation of the engineer's recommendations for award for 6 construction contracts associated with the comprehensive wastewater nutrient management program in phase 2 for us to review and to vote. And Mark Drainville from GHD will present.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
So I was going to use a memo that was in your packet as a presentation for today. So you might remember that in early 2024 there was an estimate done for the phase 2 wastewater program. And we came up with a $96.1 million estimate. Mm-hmm. And now we've been through the bid phase. That's the past 2 months. We went through the bid phase, and we've gotten all the bids in. We've reviewed all the bids, and I will go through them in some detail, and I'm happy to answer any questions. But what I have at the top here is a summary. So this is kind of let you know that we're in very good shape. So you could see the 5 bullets are the primary items that are included in the SRF cost summary. So that's how we divided this up, is how we would deliver this to SRF. And you can see that the 5 cost items there totaled $95.2 million. We had a budget of 96.1, so we're a little bit less than $1 million under budget for this. That does include a contingency, as you can see there. That's 5%. That's what's allowed by SRF. We are not able to ask for 96.1 million because we don't have the justification for it. Okay, so in years past, you could maybe seek 5.2% contingency and get the the full amount that you've appropriated for the program. They don't allow that anymore, so we can only seek what we can provide some kind of justification for. Okay, so that's what we're going to be looking for.
And I just have one question. All of this is absolutely essential for applying for the SRF. Yes?
Yes. All of these components, that's correct. They all are. Yep. This is actually how the SRF kind of seeks you to divide up your project, so they can see that you have allocations for each of these items in there. So I guess that we're in really good shape. If you remember in the phase 1 project, that was when we had really steep inflation coming out of COVID and had some issues then. Despite some of the economic uncertainty right now, we're right on target, so it's a really good news. So what I was going to do is walk through each project, each contract. So we have a total of 6 contracts. Contract 1 is the water resource recovery facility. Contract 2 is pumping stations, and contracts 3 through 6 are all piping in the ground, linear work. Okay, so for contract 1, That's the upgrade at the Water Resource Recovery Facility. We only had one bid that we received. That's still competitive because it was a competitive process. Waterline Industries was the only bidder. They're the ones who had the last project. And we included, I forgot to mention this earlier, but we did include several add alternates in each of the contracts, and that was to provide flexibility to the town in the event that costs came in high. We did that in the Phase 1 project too, and it worked out very well to allow us to award a project. So we did the same thing here. For the first contract, oh, yes, Joe.
On your contract 1, that's to fire up line 3 and 4 within the plant.
2. So it depends on what you mean.
Processing lines,
Yes,
3 and
it's-
4.
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
Thank you.
There's some other associated items in there,
Yeah.
but yes. So this contract 1 had 4 alternates, bid alternates. We are going to proceed with 2 of the 4. The 2 that we're not going to proceed with are items that are not needed right now as part of this upgrade. We included them in here in case we had the money to include them, but we don't have the money, and also they're quite high. The cost that we got for those alternates are quite high. So we're going to just proceed with 2 of the 4 alternates. And you can see the bid for those, the base bid plus the 2 alternates is $17.9 million. For contract number 2, this is the collection system pump station. So all the collection systems that are required for contracts 3 through 6 were included in one contract, contract 2. We received a total of 5 bids. Zoppo Corporation got that low bid, and we are including an add alternate as part of this, the base bid plus an add alternate, for a total of $13.1 million. Contract 3, which is primarily a low-pressure system. We had a total of 5 bids received, so this is south of the existing facility. We had a total of 5 bids received. CC Construction got this bid, and similar to the collection, the pumping stations, we are proceeding with the base bid plus the single add alternate that was in this contract. So that's a $7.9 million contract.
Will you be able to go over what that means? What's a full width mill and overlay?
Yes, I can. So when you install a sewer pipe, the contractor typically digs a trench that's, say, 6, 8, 10 feet wide, something like that. At a minimum, they have to patch that. So they have to go back in and they'll put a patch over that. A full width overlay will take care of that entire lane of traffic. So you don't have a patch, you'll have a completed lane, kind of repaired, if you will.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So not like Summerwood that we're experiencing, which is just
Patched. Okay.
just the patch. Which
Yeah, so a bunch of the contracts have this full width mill and overlay, sorry. So contract number 4, sorry. This one we received 6 bids on this one. Same contractor as 3, CC Construction, base bid plus 1 alternate. Again, we're going with the 1 alternate there, and that's a $9.1 million contract.
What do you mean by alternate one on each of these?
So we
You
included-
let the other guy know that he's second, that he might end up with it?
No, an alternate is not part of the base bid.
Okay.
And it allows the town to proceed with it if you have money to proceed with it.
If what?
If you have the money. If you have funds available.
Yeah.
So if you have a $10 million budget and you have a contract that comes in at $9.9 million and you've been at alternate of $2 million, you wouldn't be able to do that, right? So it provides you some flexibility to at least proceed with the base bid And if you have the money, you can add alternates in as you can fund them, as you're able to.
And then,
fund
so we're going to vote on adding these alternates in?
them. We're recommending
You
proceeding
okay.
with that, yes,
Okay.
because you're able to do 10 of the 12 alternates.
So for this contract 5, our alternates were to add in miscellaneous grinder installs or to do the full width overlay.
So that one had, I haven't talked about that one yet, but that one
Okay.
has 2 alternates.
Right.
And, yeah, one of them was to address longer,
There's several properties that are abnormally long, like talking 700 feet long. So we weren't sure, like, we're providing the grinder pump on the property, but in that case, that'd be an extended run. So we wanted to see what the contract prices came at, and they came in low enough that we'd be able to actually do their whole length and save them that cost like everybody else, as
Right.
opposed to putting a 700-foot burden on them.
I remember when we were first voting on the wastewater treatment facility, that one of the alternates was whether or not we were going to include the odor control. And that was one of the things that we decided that we were going to put in there as an alternate.
so, yeah, so you're talking about for Phase 1.
From Phase 1,
That
yes.
was an alternate in Phase 1, we did
Yes.
proceed with that, correct?
Yes, I remember that.
And let me go back, and I'm happy to talk in detail about the alternates in a
Sure.
minute. So let me continue with the summary.
Okay,
So for contract 5, we have the collection system to the north, 5 bids again. Robert Auer got that bid, and that's 2. There were 2 added alternates, and we're recommending proceeding with the base bid plus both alternates there. And then construction contract 6, that's another piece to the north there. 6 bids were received on that one. C. Naughton Corp. Got that bid. Base bid plus 1 alternate in that case, and that's a $14.5 million bid. All of the contractors, again, just let me proceed with a kind of the summary. All of the low bidders are known entities. They're all firms that we've worked with in the past. I just mentioned Waterline because they did the treatment. They just did the treatment plant, but Robert Auer did 2 of your main Phase 1 projects here. CC Construction does a lot of work on the Cape. Zappos, they're a little bit new, but we've worked with them before. New to the Cape, but that we've worked with them before. And C. Naughton is in the Bridgewater area. They do work all over the eastern part of the state, and I've worked with them before. So, again, no concerns with any of them, no concerns with the bids, so. So in construction contract 1, we had 4 alternates. 2 that we're recommending not proceeding with are a couple of odor control additions. These are not needed to provide odor control for Phase 2. It was an opportunity to just add something that was going to be needed at the plant as you do your phased upgrades. But we don't have the money to do that in this contract. And I will say, the prices are not really that good anyway for those 2 alternates. So we probably would have recommended not proceeding even if we had the money. So most of the other alternates on contracts are the mill and overlay, as Meredith just asked.
okay.
I think on the collection system, one of the alternates was to put odor control in, but that was, again, that was just in case the bids came in high, we'd have some flexibility, but we're able to proceed with those. So.
And these are odor control units that are not needed?
So at the plant, they're not.
Right, okay.
The pumping stations, that wasn't an alternate, put odor control in, but we are going to proceed with those units.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
So
So,
I guess I guess what I would tell you is there's no compromising necessary.
That's what I was
I guess
looking
that's what
for. Yes, okay. Okay.
I guess I have one question. Waterline, were they the ones that built the plant? And so that's, okay, that makes sense.
This was a heavy bidding period over the summer, What I will say is the first bid that we got in was the lowest one, and the last one we got in was the highest one. So we had a stretch of a couple of weeks, and we saw the bids kind of start to increase over time as contractors started winning bids and getting work in, so. But they all, even though we had, I mean, this is how estimating goes. I mean, we had some where we were higher, some where we were lower, but in the end, you know, we have everything that we're able to do, so.
Do you want us to go for a motion now? Is
So
this
if
what you're
there's any-
looking
So
for?
let me, I just want to see if there's any other questions. I can tell you what our next steps are.
That would be helpful.
Okay, so if there any-
The main thing that I have a question about, and perhaps this is not the right time, so you can tell me when it would be an appropriate time, with the three different engineers, the GHD, Apex, and Weston and Sampson. So it was engineers, and GHD design Phase 2. So the relationship among the three, I know that the oversight of the OPM is Weston and Sampson, but how different is that, or is this not a time to be addressing that?
It's like phase one. It's
It
similar
is
to
the
phase
same
one.
as Phase 1. So two construction engineer companies and one oversight
Yep.
group. Okay.
Yep.
So no different than what has
No-
been.
It's no different from phase one.
Okay. Thank you.
What I wanted to just tell, first, any other questions on this? Because I wanted to talk a little bit about schedule, just so you know what we're facing.
Okay.
I just, for the alternates of the full width mill and overlay, I know in Summerwood, a lot of people are, we didn't get that apparently, and the public is not happy. So,
The Summerwood project, that was what was agreed upon. It was a
Right,
legal document.
right. So I'm saying we should vote for these alternates because
Oh, okay,
the
gotcha.
the
Sorry, I
public,
wasn't sure.
because the public, yeah, because
apologies.
I've noticed people in our community are not happy with the patchwork, and it would have been great if we had approved
And we
that.
were
you know.
definitely nervous about it in Phase 2 because SRF has kind of changed their,
Yeah.
what they're willing to pay for. So
Right, right.
as the alternate, this is actually really good because when people were asking, it's like, we're not sure. And even
Yeah.
Catherine at the DPW was like, you're telling me you might not be
Yeah,
paving
so
those roads
basically, I'm saying
completely?
to us, we
So-
should vote for these because the public really, I mean, it,
It's important.
you know.
Hear you. Thank
Our
you.
condo unit is, yeah, it's patchwork.
I actually sent you an agenda request today. I tried to send photos of Summerwood, but I was unable to upload them. But
I'm sorry, we can't have you just speaking from the audience. No, you'd have to come to the microphone during public comment, but we need to move forward with this point. We could speak to you afterward, but not right now, thank you.
You might notice that some of the mill and overlay at alternates resulted in a credit. So depending on the capabilities of the contractor,
Yeah.
they offered a credit actually to do that. So it's really a benefit to proceed with those for a couple reasons, you know.
Yeah, and I don't want to say anything bad about Robert Bjork, because they were great. They did an amazing job. It just wasn't their final contract to finish that. But yeah, they did a great job.
Okay.
Any other questions about this?
No, thank you.
So I'm here today to show you what we would like to recommend. We wanted to run this by you to make sure that there's a consensus. What our next steps would be is, you know, pending approval from the commission, that we would write a recommendation letter that would reflect what you see up here. And we would be submitting this to SRF for them to start going through their review process so we could work towards an approval with them. We have the month of August to do this, and we're trying to get a submittal in Tuesday, which is why we asked for this special meeting today, so.
Okay. So you're going to move forward with the scheduling?
Well, actually, sorry, that was, I just wanted to tell you that, I'm here today because we need to get something into the state on Tuesday.
Right.
And, we, pending, if I can get your approval today, we can proceed tomorrow with just putting our recommendation together and putting a package together for the town manager to sign so we can send that up on Tuesday.
So do you need the recommendations now? Is this where you were
Yes,
looking?
please.
Are you looking for motion?
I am, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have several motions to make, and one is to make a motion to award the contract for the wastewater facility to Waterline Industries Corporation, and the recommended amount is for $17,927,677.
I so move.
Any discussion?
Excuse me,
Sorry.
Yes.
$937,000. 17,937,000.
937, yes, 677 at the end.
Now,
Any-
before you take a vote, we have some questions. We have our name up there. May I be?
No, wait just a minute, wait, I'll
I don't want you
recognize.
to vote on anything, I just
No,
have a question.
any discussion?
Before I vote, I'd like to have the wastewater superintendent make his recommendation.
Yes.
Yes, I recommend for contract one, awarding the base bid plus alternates 1 and 2 for a total of $17,937,677.
I move.
I'll second. Any discussion?
No, none for me. Oh, okay, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so it's unanimous, I as well, so it's unanimous that we would be accepting that we would be awarding the contract to Waterline Industries in the amount of $17,937,677 at the recommendation of the wastewater superintendent. Okay, moving forward, the next is to make a motion to award a contract to Zappo Corporation for contract number 2. So again, before we make the motion and before we vote forward on it, we'd like to hear an opinion from the wastewater superintendent.
Recommendation.
A recommendation, thank you.
I recommend awarding contract number 2, the pump stations, to Zappo with base bid and alternates 1 for a total of $13,060,200.
I'll make the motion that we follow the recommendation for contract 2.
Second, is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move forward with the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No?
Aye.
Okay, Joe? Aye.
Unanimous.
Okay, unanimous. As we move forward, the next would be to make a motion to award a contract number 3. And again, awaiting the recommendation of the wastewater superintendent.
Thank you. I recommend we award contract 3, Pirates Cove area, to CC Construction for base bid and alternate 1 totaling $7,858,916.52.
I move.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll move forward with the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Then the vote is unanimous for moving forward for contract number 3. So now moving,
Was 3, number 4.
number 4. Yeah, that was 3. Okay, so moving forward for contract number 4.
I recommend approval of contract number 4 to CC Construction with a base bid and an alternate 1 totaling $9,148,128.90.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move forward with the vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous as we move forward with contract number 4. Then the next would be contract number 5, and that would be to award a contract to Robert B. Hour. And again, the recommendation by the wastewater superintendent.
I recommend we award contract number 5 to Robert B. Hour with the base bid, alternate 1 and alternate 2, for a total of $13,963,667.70.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, may we have a vote?
Aye.
Aye.
And the vote is unanimous. As we move forward to then consider contract number 6, to award a contract to C. Norton Corporation, and again, the recommendation from the wastewater superintendent.
I recommend we award contract number 6 to C. Naughton, base bid and alternate 1, totaling $14,451,777.20.
So move.
Second.
Although, and so is there any discussion? In hearing none, we move forward with a vote.
Aye.
And the vote is unanimous to award the contract to C. Naughton Corporation. Okay. So you have now what you need to move forward with the SRF recommendation.
Yep,
Okay.
construction contracts, yeah.
The construction contracts, so we need to get that clearly into the minutes, that would be construction contracts numbers 1 through 6.
Yeah,
Okay.
Correct. So, if there are no other questions, I think this item is done.
That's good for you, yep. And we just have the one more motion to award the engineering.
Okay, the only question that I had is that in the paperwork that we received, that some of the contracts were for contracts 2 through 5, and the others were for contract 1 or 6. So why would they split in that way?
So in the, we had a meeting a few months back with the engineering firms, and we basically divided up the work, with GHD still maintaining the overall oversight because they are the design engineers.
Yes.
And then they took contract number 6, which is our largest and arguably the most complicated of the contracts. And then Apex took the other contracts, so it's just dividing the actual construction work.
Okay, so Apex is then going to be doing 2 through 5, and GHD does 6.
Yes, for the linear work.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, 3, 4, 5 is Apex, and then 1, 2, 3 is GHD. 1, 2, 6. 1, 2, 6 is GHD. Yes, thank you.
That's what wasn't clear. So it's
Yeah.
1, 2, 6, and then 3, 4, 5 go to Apex.
Yes.
Okay, so then the next motion that we need to move forward with would be a motion to enter into an agreement with Weston and Sampson and Apex Companies for the construction phase services associated with the wastewater treatment program
And GHD.
and GHD. Yes, I'm sorry, I didn't read it correctly. Be Weston and Sampson, GHD Incorporated, and Apex Companies, LLC. Is there anything in particular, I would like, before we make the motion as we move forward, well, we need to have the motion seconded. So
We
that
need
was
a
the
motion from
Okay.
the wastewater department.
Yeah, I was looking for a recommendation for us to move forward with this.
I recommend going forward with all 3 companies. It is a very large project, and it's going to require all hands on deck, because we're going to be doing all 6 at the same time. And it's going to be interesting, so.
And the thing that, as I had asked earlier, it's the same companies that we've been familiar with the same relationships.
Yes.
With construction and oversight. So both of those are included. Okay.
Yes.
All right, so now I'm going to make a motion to approve entering into the agreement. So would someone second that, please?
I'll second it.
Okay, so is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, may we have a vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So the motion passes with unanimously. So now we have the motion for the 6 contracts as well as the 3 engineering companies that we've been very familiar with working with over the last 5 years. Is there anything else that we need to move forward with for the SRF process?
Not from the sewer commission. I'll just note that a couple of the other costs that I had shown earlier are all like allowances. Like there was a line for police, that's an allowance. There's a contingency line, that's an allowance. And there's a line for utility costs too, that's another
Right.
allowance. So those are not, we don't need approval, those are just allowances at this point.
Okay. You also had mentioned that you wanted to say something about scheduling?
I kind of did. I kind of needed your approval of this so we can proceed ahead with submitting on Tuesday something to SRF so they can start reviewing, because we have to get everything done this month. So that's all it is.
Right, so it wasn't the schedule of the project, of when you're going to start it and when you'll be finished with it.
No,
It
yeah,
was
no.
the scheduling of getting in the information for the SRF, for our funding.
Correct.
For this, from the state revolving fund.
Yep.
Okay. Is there any other business from the wastewater superintendent's office?
No other new business to report at this time.
Okay, are there any comments or questions from
I
the
just have a
commissioners?
question. How is it going, processing?
Please.
So last I checked, we were almost to 70 permits. There's been some changes that we've had to work through in trying to deal with the utility installers that, well, they've had to deal with us because of multi-departments, like having the Board of Health and the plumbing department, and how they want to, are they going to inspect, are they not going to inspect? And it's changed a little bit. We just sent out a new email today to all the installers, just kind of letting them know what the process is. We've tried to streamline it a little bit more. We have Weston Sampson working with us to try to find ways to streamline this process to make it as painless as possible for everybody involved. So it's a work in progress, but I think we're continuously going in the right direction.
So if we have 70 permits now, where are we in terms of being ready to activate the seating?
That's a good question. So that's actually one of the issues that we have run into was the Win 911, which is the SCADA system way to call out if there's an alarm. We were on a trial basis. Our IT department's been trying to work with the company to renew the contract under us and not the design engineers. And we ran into, they're all on vacation. So every day I've been upstairs going, hey, what's status? He goes, send an email this morning, got the automatic response, on vacation. So he's been now making phone calls, and he finally talked to somebody. They did start us up with a trial account as well, just until the final people come through to process the paperwork. And we're hoping to be taking seed sludge Monday, and then we'll start the MBRs Monday.
That's excellent.
So we're moving fast. We thought it would take a little bit longer.
Excellent. Great to hear that. Joe, do you have a question?
Yeah, you are already accumulating material from Sea Oaks. How is that going, and are the bugs growing as they're supposed to?
So like I said, we haven't seeded yet. What we've been doing is bringing it through the screener.
Yeah.
And then we deposit it into a tank, and we've been having pump trucks come out and haul it to another facility. There was one complaint, or I heard there were several complaints about odor. I went down to the plant, stood next to the tanks, absolutely no odor, with the lids open. I think ultimately what people were smelling is either one of two things. When the septic truck came to pump out, it uses a vacuum system, and it puffs the air a little bit, so either they smelt that, or based on the proximity of what people saying they were smelling, most likely because Sea Oaks they had a lot of solids tanks that they were pumping out quite regularly, and it's a septic tank. It smells when you pump it.
They're smelling
And,
that,
Yeah, I think that's what people were ultimately smelling, because I stood right next to the tanks, and I couldn't smell nothing.
You stood right next to the plant tanks.
Yes, right where the
No
source
smells.
is. No smells.
You're suggesting that potentially all of the ones that are being pumped out, broken down, and backfilled are venting, smell, okay.
Yes.
But my question was, what do we know about the bacteria in our tanks? Why are you
We haven't started growing yet.
Why are you hauling liquid off?
Because we can't start the MBRs yet.
Why not?
So we don't have the call-out system set up yet, and Veolia requires a certain amount of flow before you start the membranes. And so we now have hit that flow, but we're still just waiting on the Win 911. Once we start that flow, we'll seed the tank, which will bring in bacteria from another MBR, which I believe we're using
What's
Mashpee
the
Commons.
initials you're using that I don't understand? Wind NBR? What are
The,
you waiting for?
the membranes, the actual membranes.
I understand, if you
Yep.
don't have enough flow, you don't use the membranes. What was the other reason why we're not using?
Oh, Win 911. It's the computer's automated call-out system if we have an alarm in the middle of the night. Like if a
Okay.
pump doesn't turn on and
Yeah.
tanks start getting too high, it'll
Your
call us.
safety system?
Yes.
Okay, you connect the word safety system with, when you manipulate language like that, and then people will know what you're talking about, please.
Yep. So yeah, basically the safety system is not fully operational yet.
Okay. What are you smirking at over there?
Hey,
I lived in a world of abbreviations, and
And it
it's
becomes
like
alphabet.
gaslighting. When you want it to be, you can talk in code and nobody knows what you're talking about. But that's not your intention, so thank you for clarifying.
and so all those odor control methods that we could impose wouldn't have helped this whole situation that you're talking about, because it's
Correct.
just them pumping out their tanks, and that's when it's gonna happen. You stand next to our facility, you don't smell anything. So there's no reason for.
Our facility
odor
doesn't
control.
smell,
Right,
period.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, ultimately, it's a vacuum type system, so even if you open the lids, it
Right.
draws air in and goes up into the carbon filter and the biofilter.
Right.
Or biofilter and carbon filter.
So
it's
what they were smelling was,
most likely another source, but people don't know. I mean, if
No, I know.
if it smells like rotten eggs, it's most likely a septic because we're an activated type sludge system, so it's more musty odor,
yeah,
not that egg smell.
yeah, for sure.
Okay. Are there any other comments, questions from the commissioners or from the wastewater department group?
I'd like to make a motion, and
Please do.
I just made a motion to close the meeting.
And do we have a second?
I second.
Okay, hearing that, the motion and having it seconded, we are now adjourned at 2:38 in the after, I'm sorry,